Spider-Man Brand New Day features a bunch of villains, so why don't we go over them one by one? In today's episode, we'll be talking about the criminal organization known as the Hand. Our story begins in 16th century Japan, on one of the country's four main islands, Kyushu. He received the childhood of Kagenobu Yoshioka, who will go on to become the founder of the Hand. So here's his inciting incident. After Kagenobu comes home from being mocked by the other kids who don't believe he's the son of a samurai and insult his mother for being a working woman, he witnesses a man threatening her. Kagenobu steps in to defend his mother and slashes the man, and to protect her kid from punishment, his mother takes the blame for the murder herself. Then we get a moment of visual foreshadowing. The future founder of the organization stands there in silence, his mother's blood handprint stained onto his clothing. As his mother is blamed for killing a foreign merchant and sentenced to execution, Kagenobu is taken into the custody of Ishiyama-sensei, who brings him to his school where Kagenobu is trained in martial arts. Upon completing his training, he stepped beyond the gates and into the wider world. Becoming a rogue samurai with no master, he began to shape his own ideology, one rooted in fierce nationalism. He sought to cleanse his homeland of foreign influence and freed from corrupt rulers. And to understand the world the story takes place in, the 16th century in Japan falls within the tumultuous Sengoku period, a time of near constant conflict that emerged in the aftermath of the Onin War. This devastating war shattered what remained of central authority, leaving the shogun with only nominal control over the country. Rather than a unified state, Japan became a fractured land dominated by powerful regional warlords known as daimyos. Each daimyo sought to expand their territory and influence, plunging the nation into the relentless warfare. The burden of these conflicts fell heavily upon the peasantry, who endured oppressive taxation and widespread instability. At the same time, the arrival of Europeans, most notably the Portuguese, introduced firearms to Japan. Recognizing their strategic value, the daimyo rapidly adopted these weapons, using them to gain military superiority. In essence, Japan during this era was a divided land, split into rival regions, constantly at war and shaped by both internal conflict and foreign influence. So what happens next in our story? Kagenobu is informed of the death of Ishiyama-sensei. Before he passed away, Ishiyama left two requests. First, that Kagenobu be found, and second, that he be asked to assume leadership of the Ishiyama Sword School. As he returns to the school to pay his respects to his deceased master, he encounters his former training rival Daisuke Sasaki. They go inside to talk, and as they discuss their master's final wish, Kagenobu suggests that Daisuke should take over leadership of the school. Daisuke has been there the entire time, teaching students and earning their respect, while Kagenobu was absent for 3 years. However, based on the experience Kagenobu gained during his time away, he believes he is now ready to take responsibility and help guide and teach the next generation of students. But Sasaki delivers the bad news. The local daimyo has imposed new regulations on martial arts schools, forcing them to limit the number of students. After hearing it, Kagenobu hits the ceiling and loses his composure. Speaking out against the greed of the daimyo, he warns that Japan is in danger of losing its identity. And then he says, "It's the same all across Japan. I've seen it firsthand everywhere I've traveled. These corrupt daimyos who claim to govern us, who claim to be looking out for our best interests, they care for no one but themselves. And now that those filthy foreigners are lining their pockets with tea and spice, the daimyos are turning their backs on their own people. The entire identity of Japan is in danger of being erased by those who are supposed to be leading us, but we have the power to stop them. And here is where that power lies." And the focus shifts to his hand and continues his words. The hand has 5 fingers, each of which can exist independently of the others, not unlike the 5 islands that form Japan. However, when the 5 fingers of the hand come together for a single unified purpose, the hand becomes an object of unwavering power. And as Sasaki questions whether Kagenobu is planning a rebellion, Kagenobu rejects the term. He calls it a reclamation. From the very moment he assumes leadership of the school, he resolves to turn it into an instrument for saving Japan, to free it from greedy daimyos, resist foreign influence, and ultimately unify the land. Thus the organization of the Hand is born, rooted in a fervent nationalist ideology. Thus the crusade begins, and as time passes, Kagenobu steadily gathers more allies to his cause, and as we are informed, the hand has already spread its operations across all of Japan. So what happens next is a foreign man approaches Kagenobu, his very presence unsettling the entire place. He explains that he has come on behalf of his daughter. His story is a grim one. He had married a Japanese woman, but their union made her an outcast. She was mocked, shunned, and branded as a traitor. One day, a group of samurai carried out the judgment, killing her in front of her young daughter, Eliza. After hearing this, Eliza pipes up, "I want you to teach me to kill. I want to kill everyone who has ever hurt me. I want you to teach me the skills by which to inflict pain and end lives." In that moment, it becomes clear she is bound by the same scars as Kagenobu, and so he accepts the girl into his school. Sasaki, however, is furious. He confronts Kagenobu, accusing him of betraying his own principles, but Kagenobu remains unmoved. He explains that the foreigner and his daughter are not acts of mercy, they are assets. The man will serve as an informant within the foreign community, and the girl will be trained, shaped into a weapon for battle. And when they are no longer useful, he will kill them both. It's that simple for him. As time passed, Kagenobu trained Eliza, and she quickly began to impress him. She showed remarkable skill, developing an extraordinary pace. Eventually, Sasaki suggested that it was time to test her abilities. Not long after, Kagenobu and Sasaki received intelligence from Eliza's father about weakened defenses. Seeing an opportunity, Sasaki pushed for her to be sent on the mission. After some consideration, Kagenobu agreed, and so Eliza was sent on her first mission. When she arrives at the location, Eliza discovers the truth of her mission. The target is a foreigner, a man who was once a friend of her father. Despite the shock, she completes the mission. She carries it out and the man is killed. Furiously shaken, she returns to Kagenobu, demanding to know why he would make her do something like this. His answer is simple: because he was a foreigner. He then reveals the truth behind the hand itself. The organization, its purpose, its structure, and the reasoning behind every decision he has made. He explains why he accepted both her and her father into the school, allowing them to leave their past behind and remain alive after their arrival. At first, Eliza resists it, but slowly she begins to understand. The ideology aligns with something already burning inside her. She realizes her pain is not separate from Kagenobu's, it is shared, and in that shared darkness she accepts it. What follows is a bond formed through grief and purpose that slowly grows into love. In a quiet moment, they embrace and then kiss, but unbeknownst to them, Sasaki has been watching the entire time, which of course was bad news, and it quickly revealed itself. One of the hand members attacks Eliza. She manages to take him down, but before dying he reveals that her secrets are no longer safe. Her true origin has been exposed. Shaken, she rushes back to Kagenobu, warning him that they have been betrayed, but he already knows something is wrong. Reports from across Japan confirm it. The hand is expanding rapidly, and with that growth, control is beginning to slip. However, he does not yet know the full extent of the situation. When he finally discovers the truth, he realizes only a handful of people could have leaked it. Convinced it is Sasaki's betrayal, Kagenobu is consumed by rage. In a final act of fury, he confronts and kills Sasaki using his mother's hairpin, the same way he once killed the foreigner who abused his mother. Meanwhile, Eliza returns to find her father dead. In the end, everything collapses around them. All that remains is Kagenobu and Eliza, left alone in the aftermath of betrayal and bloodshed. As word spreads, former allies of Kagenobu gather with one goal: to kill him and Eliza. Their reason is his decision to accept foreigners under the hand's protection. Although several sect leaders had already begun drifting away from the hand's original principle, they did so in secret agreement among themselves behind Kagenobu's back. Now exposed and unified, they turn against him. Outnumbered and without allies, Kagenobu and Eliza are left completely alone, but still they fight. They push through wave after wave of enemies, even managing to cut down several sect leaders, but with each battle their strength fades until they are completely drained. In the end, Kagenobu makes his choice. He chooses to die by the hand of the woman he loves. Eliza understands, accepting her fate. She takes her own life as well, ending it on her own terms. But within the hand, death is not a final thing. It is almost trivial. As the sect leaders speak, do you think it wise attempting to bring her back? You saw how she fought. She was death incarnate. Japanese are not under the hand's control. She will become a living weapon to use as we see fit. If the process's success, we have had mixed results so far, and it has never before been performed on a woman. There is nothing to be lost should we fail, but immeasurable power to be gained if we succeed. Bring her body to the days down below. Let us venture to breathe life back into her body. The process of Eliza's resurrection begins. It succeeds. The sect leaders then withdraw, ordering that Sasaki's body also be brought to them. And so the cycle of resurrection begins. Then it is revealed that this entire story has been told by a member of the Hand to Elektra. She had assumed that the resurrection ritual was withheld from her because she was both a foreigner and a woman. However, the Hand member assures her that she is not the first and will not be the last foreigner or woman to be resurrected. Then both bodies disappear and the dead body rises. Elektra has just been resurrected. It can be assumed that this entire dialogue was part of her vision during the resurrection process, as her consciousness slowly returned. As she removes the garment, she is revealed in a white suit, symbolizing a new beginning and clarity. Thanks so much for tuning in, my dear variants. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.